Namaskar, distinguished guests on the dais and of the dais. I'm glad and feel honored and humbled by the invitation of Madam Ajit Kaurji and the Foundation of Sark Writers and Literature to participate in this conference and present a paper on contemporary Indian literary scenario. The foundation has been rendering human service to humanity by uniting the people of SAARC countries and bridging varied cultures of these lands. The SAARC apex body initiated the efforts in those directions pretty early and been continuing their efforts. Before going any further, I congratulate Madam Ajit Kaurji and the foundation and wish the conference all success in all their endeavors in the times to come. Friends, in the times gone by, nay, eons gone by, the ancient India was perceived as a homogeneous country, and the literature emanating from the land was characterized as Indian literature, and the differences were merely seen as aberrations rather than contributions. However, the modern India, especially contemporary one, is basking in the shine of diversity in unity, and the literature of contemporary India is all about sans boundaries. When taken as a body of writing pertaining to any subject, today India produces vast amount of literary material than ever before. Stories, novels, poems, plays, criticism, political, economic, scientific, religious literatures than ever before. The ease of propagation, availability of information at one's fingertips, ever advancing technologies and their cascading effects, all this means that the clearly drawn boundaries between various types of literatures are blurring by day. Today, stories and poems contain vast amount of references to technologies and their presence in human lives more than ever before. Religious literatures contain scientific evidences, and scientists are more prone to use poetic language, and economic literature borrows easily from religious literature, and so on. For the connoisseurs, there is nothing which can be described solely as pure or secular or religious literature, and so on. People from other cultures and countries get perplexed when they come in contact with Indian writing and are often left bewildered at the sheer variety and range of Indian writing. The reason for such diversity and depth is because India is a multicultural and multilinguistic society. The sheer variety of cultures given rise to wide range of writing and in a large number of languages. This is very unique to India, and this aspect of Indian writing was not portrayed very well beyond the shores of India for a very long time. But thanks to a bunch of wonderful writers in contemporary India, this aspect is shining marvelously. There were other contributors. Epics and Gita were famous abroad. Tagore and a handful of scientists garnered glory, but it is writers like Rushdie, Anita Desai, Naipaul, Arundhati Rai, Champa Lahiri, Anita Nair, Amitav Ghosh, Shashi Tharoor, and Vikram Seth brought spotlight back on India, and more people from various countries wanted to know more about diverse cultures of India. When one looks only at Indian literary scenario today, it gives plenty of scope for optimism and hope. The entire literary milieu is vibrant and bubbling with energy and activity. I would like to call, if I am allowed to do so, the past 3 decades of Indian literature as expansion mode. It is during this period everything connected with literature mushroomed: printing presses, publishing houses, number of books published, the genres in which books were written, number of writers, the way in which literary works are produced, and of course, without doubt, how they are received or read. All these and much more pertaining to Indian literature saw an expansion never seen before. Purely from that point of view, Indian literature is one of the hotspots in world literature today and has been so for the past 2 decades at least. But nothing gives more joy than mushrooming of literature. Such mushrooming has not only helped in strengthening of Indian literature but also portray and bring out diversity of Indian culture in true spirit. Today we have fantasy novels, science fiction, Dalit literature, feminist literature, writings about subcultures, regional cuisines and costumes, subaltern literature in regional languages, autofiction, writings about indigenous cultures and traditions, nature and wildlife in many forms, and much more. Another gladdening aspect of contemporary Indian literature is the number of youngsters taking up to writing. As all of you know, India is a young country and therefore it should not be surprising that many youngsters have taken up to blogging, writing, etc. But what is heartening is that a large number of them have taken up to serious literature and thousands of books published by them in the past 3 decades are testimonies to this fact. One thing that stands out in the contemporary regional writing of India is the quality and quantity of criticism. Never before that India has such a bounty, and also the quality of criticism has been sharp, on par with global criticism, and also on a range of subjects. Gone are the days when criticism in regional languages would only amount to responses to queries or reaction to certain situations or writings. Self-reflection, desire to progress and pen down critical thoughts are the hallmarks of contemporary Indian criticism. Again, in one word, to aggregate the number of women writing in all the languages of India, the country would top the list of women literatures hands down. I know we have a long way to go when it comes to gender equality, but still the sheer size of women writers and feminist literature emanating from the subcontinent would make everyone proud. This is another striking aspect of contemporary literary scenario in India. This spirit and euphoria of contemporary Indian literature is reflected in one way or another in the form of a large number of literary festivals across the country. I wonder whether any country hosts so many different literary festivals annually, not only at the national level but also at the regional level. For example, Marathi or Bengali literary milieu witness annually a number of literary festivals and melas apart from large number of literary gatherings. You just mentioned that in Marathi language alone, they have a nearly 250 literary festivals annually they organize. In Marathi language alone, I should mention here. The literary festivals in contemporary India also serve another purpose. They provide opportunities to a large number of writers from various regions and backgrounds whose writings would not otherwise be highlighted properly across the platform. There is a saying, more the merrier, and more literary festivals mean more writers get attention they richly deserve. Talking of attention, contemporary literary scenario has witnessed increasing attention, adulation, monetary benefits for the writers when compared to the previous decades. Further, the digital age has closed the gap between writers and readers through multitude of platforms, and the impossibility of fusion or presence when it comes to the relationship between the writers and readers is a thing of past, and this is applicable to writers and readers in all the languages of India. Given such an expansion, it has been an exciting 3 decades not only for the writers and publishers but for the readers also. Today, the literature is being received and consumed in varieties of ways and forms. The same goes to how literature is being produced too, with the non-stop arrival of technological innovations. Possibilities of technological inventions may also change the landscape of literature beyond recognition, and we have already witnessed the same in the past 3 decades or so. The literary scenario in India in the contemporary times is not all beds of roses, though. India is a multilingual society, as I mentioned earlier, and the amount of literature emanating from each of those languages is staggering. But the problem is there are not many bridges bridging those languages. So today, a Bengali writer or a reader may not be even aware of, say, a Telugu writing or Kashmiri writer, or reader may not be aware of Malayalam writing. That is simply because the number of people who knows many languages is on the wane. It is not simply a situation of ignorance of other literatures. It also impacts the availability of translations. In the morning, His Excellency the Ambassador of Bangladesh had mentioned, often translations are done though linked languages, and those translations are not guarantee of the true picture in the original literature. This is a much serious problem than it is being pursued with. Such a discordant landscape would question the very nomenclature and concept of Indian literature. There are already theories and arguments that there is nothing called Indian literature or say Northeast literature, but only Telugu literature, Hindi literature, Assamese literature, Gujarati literature, Kashmiri literature, Tamil literature, and so on. Such critical analysis is good for any literary milieu, and contemporary Indian literary scenario stands benefited from such reflections. Moreover, the readership in the country is going down drastically. Today, the reading habits are dipping past and furious with children and youth preferring television, video games, internet, and WhatsApp over reading of books. This is not a good omen for the decades to come and not a healthy sign for Indian literature particularly. National institutions are taking measured steps to counter the situation and inculcate good reading habits among youth, especially children. That is a good sign. Again, with the advent of self-publication, the number of authors getting their works published has increased, but the quality assurance and editing is not part of that development, and this has led a situation where people seriously doubt the credibility of self-publications. We need to develop a sound system to tackle with issues like this. It is here and in a situation like this that the national literary institutions in India like Sahitya Academy or National Book Trust and Publication Division come into picture. Carrying the best literature from one region and language to other regions and languages through translations. Through this, they link diverse languages and literary traditions of the country. They cannot carry every single little publish, but they are trying their level best to decrease the skewed reality. Again, these national institutions, since inception, have been striving to inculcate good reading habits among children and youth through a number of initiatives, and I am sure the situation will improve. With these few words, I would like to my speech and thank everyone of the patiently listening to me, and once again I thank Madam Majid Kauri for giving this opportunity to me. Thank you all.